To the shade of Elliston by Charles Lamb. Joyousest of once embodied spirits, whither at length hast thou flown? To what genial region are we permitted to conjecture that thou hast flitted? Art thou sowing thy wild oats yet? The harvest time was still to come with thee upon casual sands of Avernus, or art thou enacting rover, as we would gladlier think, by wandering Elysian streams? This mortal frame, while thou didst play thy brief antics amongst us, was in truth anything but a prison to thee, as the vain Platonist dreams of this body to be no better than a county jail, forsooth, or some house of durance vile, whereof the 5 senses are the fetters. Thou knewest better than to be in a hurry to cast off those gyves, and had notice to quit, I fear, before thou wert quite ready to abandon this fleshly tenement. It was thy pleasure house, thy palace of dainty devices, thy Louvre or thy Whitehall. What new mysterious lodgings dost thou tenant now, or when may we expect thy aerial housewarming? Tartarus we know, and we have read of the blessed shades, now cannot I intelligibly fancy thee in either. Is it too much to hazard a conjecture that, as the schoolmen admitted a receptacle apart for patriarchs and unchristened babes, there may exist, not far perchance from that storehouse of all vanities which Milton saw in visions, a limbo somewhere for players, and that up thither like aerial vapours fly both all stage things, and all that in stage things built their fond hopes of glory or lasting fame, all the unaccomplished works of authors' hands, abortive, monstrous, or unkindly mixed, damned upon earth, fleet thither, play, opera, farce with all their trumpery. There, by the neighbouring moon, by some not improperly supposed thy regent planet upon earth, mayst thou not still be acting thy managerial pranks, great disembodied lessee, but lessee still, and still a manager. In green rooms, impervious to mortal eye, the muse beholds thee wielding posthumous empire. Thin ghosts of figurantes, never plump on earth, circle thee in endlessly, and still their song is fie on sinful fantasy. Magnificent were thy capriccios on this globe of earth, Robert William Elliston, for as yet we know not thy new name in heaven. It irks me to think that stripped of thy regalities thou shouldst ferry over, a poor forked shade in crazy Stygian wherry. Methinks I hear the old boatman, paddling by the weedy wharf with rossed voice bawling sculls, sculls, to which with waving hand and majestic action thou deignest no reply, other than in 2 curt monosyllables, no, oars. But the laws of Pluto's kingdom know small difference between king and cobbler, manager and call-boy, and if haply your dates of life were conterminant, you are quietly taking your passage, cheek by cheek, O ignoble levelling of death, with the shade of some recently departed candle-snuffer. But mercy, what strippings, what tearing off of histrionic robes and private vanities, what denudations to the bone, before the surly ferryman will admit you to set a foot within his battered lighter. Crowns, sceptres, shield, sword, and truncheon, thy own coronation robes, for thou hast brought the whole property man's wardrobe with thee enough to sink a navy. The judge's ermine, the coxcomb's wig, the snuff-box a la Foppington, all must overboard, he positively swears, and that ancient mariner brooks no denial. For since the tiresome monodrame of the old Thracian harper, Charon, it is to be believed, hath shown small taste for theatricals. Ay, now 'tis done, you are just boat weight, pura et puta anima. But bless me, how little you look. So shall we all look, kings and keisars, stripped for the last voyage. But the murky rogue pushes off. Adieu, pleasant and thrice pleasant shade, with my parting thanks for many a heavy hour of life lightened by thy harmless extravaganzas, public or domestic. Rhadamanthus, who tries the lighter causes below, leaving to his 2 brethren the heavy calendars, honest Rhadamanth, always partial to players, weighing their party-coloured existence here upon earth, making account of the few foibles that may have shaded thy real life as we call it, though, substantially, scarcely less a vapour than thy idlest vagaries upon the boards of Drury, as but of so many echoes, natural repercussions, and results to be expected from the assumed extravagancies of thy secondary or mock life, nightly upon a stage, after a lenient castigation, with rods lighter than of those Medusean ringlets, but just enough to whip the offending Adam out of thee, shall courteously dismiss thee at the right-hand gate, the O.P. side of Hades, that conducts to masques and merry-makings in the Theatre Royal of Proserpine.